So you're getting some coffee in the kitchen at work. One of the other employees walks in and recognizes you and he says, "Hey, I heard that you're the new EHS manager." You respond, "Yes," with a tone of indifference. He says, "How did you get that job?" You say, "I'm not sure. The branch manager came to me and said, 'You're in charge of ESH from now on.'" And then she walked out. I don't even know what EHS means. I'm sorry to hear that. Now what are you going to do? I'm not sure. Hello, my name's RHarvey with Echelon Environmental. And I have put together this presentation to discuss with you, new EHS managers, what you need to do. What I want to do with this presentation is to show you that there is a way that you can work this out, that you can handle the EHS responsibilities for environmental health and safety, even if you have no experience in the field. Because during my 35 years in the environmental service business, I've been inside thousands of companies. And one of the conditions I've frequently seen there is what I call the new EHS Manager syndrome. It's a serious condition, which is commonly found in people who are given the responsibility of managing either hazardous waste disposal, employee safety, or hazardous materials shipping. In the most serious cases, this person is responsible for all of these important tasks. Aggravating circumstances for people with new EHS manager syndrome include complete lack of experience, little or no formal training, low level of support from upper management, and one or more other hats to wear simultaneously. So I've created this presentation to provide you with some basic guidelines for how to successfully complete this task. So I guess the first question you'd really want to know is how you became the new EHS manager. Usually some kind of event triggers the selection. Someone left the company and they were already doing all the EHS stuff. There was an inspection by some outside agency or maybe even an internal audit of some kind, and maybe it didn't go so well. And or the owners or supervisors, managers saw some kind of an article in a magazine or online, or they saw a news story that triggered something in their heads and they said, "Uh-oh." So somehow it was decided that somebody needed to take this EHS stuff under their hat. And so they started looking for volunteers. There were none. And somehow you were selected. Now, this could be some previous experience that you have on your resume or some other jobs. You may have a college degree that kind of resembles something in the area of health and safety or waste management. And even proximity. I've seen quite a few cases where the person whose office was closest to the waste storage area actually became the waste manager by proximity. However it happened, now you're it. The management has put some trust in you, and this is something you really need to consider, that they've given you a serious responsibility. But there's a problem. The task is almost impossible to fulfill by yourself. It takes literally years of experience to develop a full understanding of the Code of Federal Regulations. And how much do you know about the 29 CFR, the Code of Federal Regulations, which are the OSHA rules for workplace safety, or 40 CFR, which are the rules for chemical waste and management under EPA, or 49 CFR, the DOT rules for hazardous materials shipping. And I almost forgot to mention the state and local regulations that add to the pile of regulations that you're supposed to know about. Well, stick around. At the end of this presentation, I will show you how to get help. I will be giving you access to the survival guide for new EHS managers. Just hold on. A little background information here. So, how do you get your bearings now that you have been crowned the new EHS manager? One of the first things to do is you got to go and talk to your boss. Find out what is expected of you. Find out what specific responsibilities they're putting on you, whether it's just health and safety or just waste management or everything under the sun. Are there any priority items? Because like I said, sometimes when they come up and decide to designate someone the EHS manager, there's something that triggered that, and you want to find out what that is. And you also want to ask, what kind of time frame are they giving you to get this accomplished? One of the things you need to do that's really important is to locate any existing records that are in your business. You need to find any existing EHS programs that are somewhere scattered around your company. Employee safety programs under OSHA, waste disposal stuff that you're going to find, those are EPA records, chemical reporting, which is also EPA, sorry for the misspelling there. HazMat Shipping records for the DOT, and there's other ones as well. You need to just find out who had the job before you, if there was such a person, and ask that person where all the bodies are buried. I mean where all the records are kept. In the EHS business, there are lots of registrations and permits and identification numbers that are assigned to your company. You need to get those. You need to look for previous citations because that's always important. If there have been previous citations by a particular agency, sometimes they might come back and check up on you. Now, this is so important because these are the baseline. And it's so much better to build on a foundation than to have to start from scratch. But if there is nothing for you to work on, we're going to help you. So one of the first things you want to do is to take a walk around the facility. And there are two stages that I propose that you do this in. The first one, okay, is just an informal look around the facility, just to kind of get familiar where things are and just see and smell and listen to all the stuff that's happening out there, because quite a few of those operations you're going to have to be dealing with. The second stage of walking around is where you're actually going to be gathering some information about the operations and the different people that are involved. Now, for the first walk, you're just looking. You're just walking and looking. You just need to kind of get a feel for the whole layout of the facility and the different stuff that's going on. On the second walk, you're really looking to start getting some information together. You want to find out who's in charge of the different operations that are going on, maybe who their boss might be as well. You want to find out what's going on in the different areas of your facility. And really probably the most important part is that you want to appear, at least, and if you can genuinely be interested in the operations, that's even better, because you do not want to just stride in there and say, hey, I'm the new EHS manager, and you do not want to pull out a clipboard and start taking notes, okay? Because if you pull out a clipboard, I'm sorry, but you instantly are not going to be trusted. People don't trust other people with clipboards and start taking notes like a little detective of some kind, okay? You do not want to do that, because you're going to need to be working with these people. You're going to need them to cooperate with you. You want to get off on the right foot. So next, after you've gone out and kind of gotten a feel for what's going on in the facility, you need to start matching the operations to the regulations. Many of the operations in your facility will be subject to one or more sets of regulations. Equipment like forklifts are subject to one set of regulations. Machinery, basically anything with moving parts, is subject to another set of regulations. Chemicals, stuff that ignites, burns, or kills, those are subject to actually several different sets of regulations. Hazardous materials, any chemical products that you ship, those are a whole nother set of rules. And these rules are all found in the OSHA, EPA, and DOT regulations. The hard part, though, is determining which specific rules apply to which operations. Now, I do have a way for you to get the help that you need, and it's found in the Survival Guide for New EHS Managers. Now, once you know which rules apply, you have to compare what is going on with what the rules say is supposed to be happening. Now, you need to read the actual regulations. And this is a difficult phase of your EHS management responsibilities. If you've ever read the CFR before, you know what I mean. If you haven't read it before, you'll see. The rules are written in a foreign language. I call it regulese. And this is not going to be easy. But there's really no escaping it. The regulations drive compliance. They tell you what's supposed to be happening. In the Survival Guide, I provide resources that translate into plain English what the regulocrats are telling you to do. Now that you have gathered all the documentation available, that you've looked around the facility, that you've compared the operations to the regulations, it's time to try your hand at doing some job hazard analyses. We call them JHAs. Written JHAs are required by OSHA, and they identify the hazards for each operation. They're really very helpful in determining the nexus between your operations and the rules. Now, it's time to go tell your boss what you found. You just want to make this an overview at this point. You want to basically connect the dots for them. You want to say, okay, this is what's in place and it's doing well. This is what's missing and not doing really well. And this is what I'm going to have to do some more study on because I'm not quite sure whether it's working or not. You really need to try to prioritize the deficient areas. And then you're going to need to put together a rough 30, 60, 90 plan. Now, 30, 60, 90 means that you're going to kind of outline, okay, in 30 days, I want to get this done. Within 60 days, I want to have this other stuff done. And within 90 days, maybe I'll even be able to have it all wrapped up. But it's a good idea to set some goals like that. And it also really shows your boss that you're putting a lot of thought into it and that you're really taking it seriously. And so these are really just the first steps. I hate to disappoint you, but it is. If you're building an EHS program from the ground up, you're just getting started. But really, your best plan is to focus. Priority issues first. Then get the ducks in a row and knock them down one at a time. You really want to try to focus on taking bites out of this thing, just one after another, and take the biggest bites first, and kind of sometimes the most distasteful ones at first. But you've just got to systematically take down one at a time until you can really make some progress in getting all of this stuff under control. Now, looking ahead, you want to be thinking about maintenance. Now, from my experience, most programs fail for lack of maintenance. The people will come in and they will put together a great program, and they'll take their 3-ring binders and put them on the shelf, and they never see the light of day again. What you need to be looking forward to, okay, is doing annual reviews of all of the regulations. You want to keep your eyes open for regulatory changes, okay, because the regulations change all the time. And you even want to keep an eye out for operational changes. If your company brings in a new piece of equipment, or if it starts using a new chemical out in the plant, that could very well change your compliance. That could change some of the regulations you're operating under. Now, time for a little encouragement, because I know this may seem kind of weighty right off the top. But the bottom line is you can do this. It's not that hard once you get the hang of it, because I know it's all very strange at first. But the regulations tell you exactly what to do. The rules are spelled out in black and white. You can do this if you take it seriously. And, we know that this is a big responsibility, but it's been put into your hands. It can result in a big boost in your reputation with the bosses if it's done right. Well, and if not, And it might become a whole new profession for you, because EHS people are kind of a rare breed, and not many people actually want to go ahead and take all that responsibility on. So if you get good at this, it could actually become an entire profession for you. Now, in case you want to jump in right now, here's where to go. ehstips.com/new EHS. That is the address to go to the page where you can purchase the survival guide for new EHS managers. Now, as we go on a little more here, I've put together a plan to help you get through this. I call it the Survival Guide for New EHS Managers. In it, I elaborate extensively on all the things we've discussed here. In this presentation, I've just really glossed over a whole lot of different stuff. I've gathered several resources that will help you get started. And I've got a support mechanism for you, a private LinkedIn group where you can go in and post questions and get answers, and we'll even have live sessions, and you can call in on those and discuss stuff with us. The Survival Guide for New EHS Managers will show you where to find all this historical information about your facility that you need. It's going to give you a formula for getting familiar with your operations and the people running them. And it's going to supply you with some general advice on how to get off to a good start. the survival guide will take you rapidly from an initial evaluation of the facility operations and materials to the assessment of hazards, to determination of applicable regulations, and then to identification of the regulatory requirements, and finally to compliance with the rules that you're subject to. That is, of course, the overall objective: to develop the programs that will fulfill your legal duties as an employer. The result of all this is that the survival guide will give you a sense of confidence, some peace of mind, and some assurance that you can tackle this task. So, in conclusion, I invite you to go to this address, ehstips.com/new EHS. There will be some information there, and even a page you can print and send to your boss, because I know that for the most part, you EHS managers are not going to be paying for this course yourself. You will be having your boss pay for it, most likely, unless, of course, you can do it. Even better. So right now, it's time to take the action that will get you the direction you need. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to get an email from you. My name again is RHarvey. You can send the email to help@realehs.com. Thank you very much, and look forward to hearing from you soon. Take care. Bye. Oh, one last time. You can do this. Don't be afraid. Just come with us, and we'll show you how.